What's going on, guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video, and today I got What If Naruto is a Sealing Master? Part 1. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this weather scenario. And with all that being said, cue the intro. This story would begin as it usually would, at the night of the Nine-Tails attack. This event would basically stay the exact same, but the events beforehand were very different. A few weeks before the event of the Nine-Tails, Minato would be hard at work, in his office, tending to his Hokage duties. But whenever he's free, he writes some basic sealing formulas or sealing jutsu in a scroll. He would have done this ever since he found out Kushina was pregnant. Kushina would be curious about the things he writes, so she decides to ask him, "Minato, what have you been writing in those scrolls? Who have you, scrolls? Why have you tucked them away?" She'd ask inquisitively. "Well, if you must know, I'm writing down some basic sealing formulas or sealing jutsu that a child could one day learn," Minato would, say with a smile. Kushina would also smile and allow Minato to continue, knowing that this could possibly be what helps them revive the Uzumaki clan, or just pass down sealing jutsu knowledge to the next generation. Minato would have written down many stored seals and basic storing, jutsu, like for clothes, tools, and etc. Minato would also write down sealing formulas that ninjas could use. These things vary in rank. The highest in rank, or the highest rank seal, would be the Reaper Death Seal, being classified as an S rank. An A rank jutsu would be the Flying Raijin, or A to S rank Flying Raijin. These scrolls were placed or hidden somewhere, and seals were also placed on them so that people are prevented unable to open these seals. And since Minato knows they are dangerous, and if they went to the wrong hands, this would go very south. The seal that was placed or used was a B rank seal, and to open the seal or to release the seal, the person needs to have a similar chakra or similar chakra signature to the caster. And the seal, or if the seal could sense it, the seal would be undone. So yeah, that's basically a simple background explanation. But we go back to the present day. Naruto was a mischievous boy, that went around vandalizing the Hokage student faces and other stuff too. Or used to. Naruto would have realized that if he wanted to gain respect of the villagers, then disrespecting something or someone they cherished wasn't the best idea. So instead of doing stuff like that, Naruto studied vigorously. He would have developed his brain to be a lot smarter than his canon self. But there was one thing that he excelled at most. The one thing that he excelled at better than anyone in his class was seals, or Fuin Jutsu. Naruto would have a talent for them, Iruka, having noticed this, would decide to tell Hiruzen about this. Hiruzen, after being told about this news, would remember Minato's gifts to Naruto, those being the sealing scrolls, not the scroll of sealing. But we continue. Hiruzen would get up from his chair and open a storage room where some information or scrolls are kept. Side note, not top secrets, of course. But we continue. Hiruzen would browse through them while Iruka would be watching in confusion. After browsing for 3 minutes, he would stumble upon a few of Minato's things, one of those things being a box of basic sealing formulas. Hiruzen brought it out and showed Iruka. Iruka would ask with a puzzled look, "What are those for, Lord Third?" "These are gifts of the late 4th Hokage. These gifts are sealing formulas that I would like you to give to Naruto," Hiruzen would reply stoically. Iruka would be surprised by this request but comply. Understanding that these are orders, Hiruzen would dismiss Iruka from his office, but before that, he told him to make sure Naruto mastered the sealing jutsus in the scroll in order till the last scroll. With a confused look, Iruka would nod and leave the Hokage office. He'd head towards Naruto's apartment, which would be late at night. Naruto wasn't really expecting any visitors, so it was a shock to see his sensei here so late. Sensei, what are you doing here so late? Naruto would ask inquisitively. Well, Naruto, the third Hokage would have asked me to give you these gifts, Iruka responded kindly. Gifts? What sort of gifts? Naruto would question. These gifts are from the late fourth Hokage. These are scrolls filled with basic sealing techniques, Iruka would answer proudly. Naruto would be shocked by this news, a gift that came from the Yondaime Hokage. This was the best news he had heard all day. Naruto would welcome Iruka to his apartment and ask further questions. Once he finished asking Iruka questions, Iruka would inform him that he has to master each scroll, which is 12 scrolls, in order. The last scroll would be sealed, and Naruto would have to use the knowledge that he has learnt from mastering the first 11 to crack open the final one. The blonde boy would be intrigued by this, but wouldn't ask any further questions, seeing as it was already late. Iruka would exit the apartment and wave Naruto goodbye. After this, Naruto would begin training in the art of Fuin Jutsu, or sealing jutsu. He'd practice the sealing jutsu that were written in the scroll, and this would help Naruto further develop his chakra control, seeing as with the scrolls or sealing jutsu, you need to have great or at least average chakra control to even be able to pull this off, or else, well, your jutsu really won't work. In the academy, Naruto's practical scores would increase if it was anything related to chakra control. For example, transformation or clones, etc. He'd be alright with kunai and shuriken and all that, and other practical stuff on the field, but besides that, his main thing is chakra-related stuff. Iruka would notice the big difference in Naruto's chakra control, and report this progress to Hiruzen. The old man would be impressed by the news and would ask Iruka if he can frequently report about Naruto's progress. We do a time skip. The graduation exams have commenced. Naruto would pass with flying colors, seeing as he has almost perfect chakra control. Mizuki wouldn't really be able to prey on Naruto, so he would have chosen another student to try steal the scroll of sealing. But Hiruzen would send the Anbu, and they'd handle the situation. But we move. The teams that have been set are like canon, so there will basically be no major changes to the team overall. But the same can't be said for Naruto. Ever since he's been given those scrolls, or to practice Fuin Jutsu, he has been more proficient in chakra control, and his genius for Fuin Jutsu is more evident than ever. Naruto would have mastered the 11 basic sealing jutsus that were in the scroll, and would unseal the 12th, figuring out that the 12th was a map to a hidden area in the leaf. This area of the leaf, or this map that basically was a 12th scroll, would lead to a hidden area in the leaf. This area of the leaf looked to be abandoned, but amongst all the abandoned buildings, one stands alone. This building seemed fancy, like a mansion. Naruto would approach this house, but he would recognize ceiling tags placed on the front gate. Seeing them made him hesitant to enter, knowing that they could either blow him up or trigger a trap, which wouldn't be good either way. Naruto would steal his resolve and approach the gate. Once he approached the gate. Once he did, he noticed that the gate's ceiling tags glowed a tad bit. The gates would swing open, allowing Naruto passage. he'd enter the house, still wary but less frightened. The curious blonde would begin exploring the house, or the house's first floor. The place seemed very dusty, but had nice furniture, which would imply that the owner liked to live in a bit of style. After exploring the first floor a bit, Naruto would enter the living room, and once there, he'd catch a glimpse of a family portrait. Naruto would study the portrait, or would study the portrait further, and after a closer look, he'd step back in shock. "No way!" the boy exclaimed, in shock. "It's Ayondaime Hokage and his wife, Lady Kushina," Naruto would say, now very much worried, seeing as he has trespassed onto the property of the late Ayondaime Hokage. Naruto would want to leave as fast as possible until he noticed a note near the family portrait. The note read out, "To our son, Naruto Uzumaki. We hope you have been doing well, and if you're reading this, you must be around the age of 16 to 17 by now. We know you must have a lot of questions, but they will all be answered in due time. We sincerely hope that you haven't been too lonely and have made wonderful friends. By now you must have already mastered the basics of Fuin Jutsu and are looking for the missing scrolls. They are here hidden behind this portrait. There is a seal involved to make of looking for the missing scrolls. They are here hidden behind this portrait, of course. Hidden behind this portrait. Of course, there are seals involved, so make sure to figure it out. Love, your parents, Minato and Kushina." Tears of sadness, loneliness, joy, and happiness rolled down Naruto's cheek as he read the note. Left behind from his parents. He'd finally know who his parents were, but the fact that they were kept a secret from him hurt badly. Naruto would wipe the tears from his face and would begin trying to figure out what seal his father could have used, or his father or mother could have used on this portrait that would hide these scrolls. As he pondered this, he'd think back to all the sealing jutsu he'd learned, but it seems like none of those could possibly be used for something like this, especially in the house of the Yondaime Hokage. So Naruto would think back on all the times he studied sealing jutsu, and he'd come across a memory of him reading in the library. And he read a book that was about sealing jutsu, but this sealing jutsu was related to blood. You'd have to use your blood, or just a little bit of your blood, to be able to, just wipe a bit of your blood on a seal, and the seal would somehow activate. As Naruto would think that this could possibly be what the seal is, so Naruto would basically bite his thumb, which would leak out a bit which would show a bit of blood. And using that bit of blood that's shown, Naruto would wipe his hand or his thumb on the portrait. And the portrait wouldn't do anything for a few seconds, as Naruto would be kind of disappointed, seeing as he kind of ruined the portrait. But before he could say anything, the portrait would begin to glow as it opened. As Naruto would move the portrait aside, it'd show he'd move the portrait aside. Naruto would see or have a glimpse of the final scrolls that were missing. These were 5 scrolls. These scrolls held very, very powerful sealing jutsu and could be very dangerous to those who would get their hands on it that are actually evil. So Naruto would take these scrolls from his father and mother's house, and decide to take it to his apartment. And he'd close up everything because he doesn't want to leave any trail of him behind here, and he'd make sure that no one would find out he's here. So Naruto would head back to his apartment and hide these scrolls, and he'd basically show up to the academy for the next day, seeing as he would be waiting for his Jonin sensei to arrive. But I think I'm going to leave it off there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy part 1, and if you want part 2, just comment part 2 in the comments below. But with all that being said, I'll see you all in the next scenario. Peace.